Alright guys, welcome back. This is my Ruger Precision rifle, and this is a rifle that I had set up for Base Class NRL22 like way back in 2019, like before COVID happened, and then the world went to shit and we couldn't even go to the range and compete because we couldn't be next to each other and all that crap. So this kind of sat on the back burner and I really didn't get to use it a whole lot, and then recently I've been getting into air guns more, and so now I compete in the air gun class, and so this kind of just got left behind. But let's talk about the rifle a little bit. It's set up for base class. The only thing that is going to exclude this from base class next season, I believe, since they're changing the rules a little bit, is I have a Timony trigger in here. And I put this Timony trigger in before they came out with the rimfire version for this. So this is a Timony trigger from a Ruger Precision rifle. So like the 6.5 Creedmoor or 308 version, the big guy. It's a trigger from that. I found it on a really great deal used, and I was able to machine off the top of the trigger pack to fit the locking lug system that's kind of in here, and it's completely safe and everything. It's not completely hard to do. I'm not going to really get into it on YouTube, but you just need to take a little bit off the back and shave a notch in it on the front so that it fits inside. So with some trial and error, you can get it to work, just so you know. But they do offer the rimfire version now, so if you can get that, just go for that. Don't even try to modify anything. I was trying to be fancy. So back on the back, these rifles have a little bit of Picatinny on the back where you can add a bag rider. I believe what this is initially made for was those little monopods that kind of adjust in the back for more like a bench rest style shooter, which is great. And if you want to do that, that's probably a great option for you. But for PRS style matches where you're basically shooting from a bag, it's really not that good of an option. So there's a ton of 3D printed versions on eBay or Etsy and stuff like that, but people just want an insane amount of money for these 3D printed products, which I'm sure they work great, but I wanted to find my own way to do it. The first version I did was, I saw a lot of people use some extra scope mounts, so like a 1-inch scope mount, flip it upside down, and then they would go to like Home Depot or Lowe's and pick up a 1-inch diameter pipe, cut that down, and then you have like a long pipe back here. It works super great, and I've seen some other people with these do that, but I didn't love the look, and it was a little bit bulky in my opinion. And what I ended up doing was I had this Picatinny riser and I flipped it upside down, and so now it's a lot more solid than that pipe was, in my opinion. It has like Picatinny at the bottom, but that really doesn't affect anything when I'm shooting off of a bag, and it's been working out great. So I just kind of used that, and it looked a little bit cleaner looking to me. So that's what I've done. The scope I have on here is the Vortex Diamondback Tactical, and this is a 6-24. It's a great scope. When I bought this setup, there wasn't a lot of scopes available that were going to be able to fit in that price limit for base class. And so this was the best option pretty much at the time for the quality, but there's a lot better ones now. Some offerings from Burris, Arkin, Athon, I don't know how to say it, but it's that brand. There's just a bunch. There's a bunch of lower price point scopes that are pretty good quality that you could use nowadays. But at the time, this was kind of the top dog, and it has a lot of features that are really great. And I still really like this scope. There's no need for me to upgrade it or anything. But this is what I have. I have the MOA version because this was when I was first getting into kind of any kind of competition stuff or long range shooting. And I really didn't understand the difference between mil and MOA. If you're going to start out, I would highly suggest just going straight to a mil style reticle because it's more common, and in my opinion, it's a lot easier to use than MOA. It's a lot easier to make fine adjustments, I should say. But this has been working out fine. You're only shooting out to distances like 250 yards max, really, so it's not like terribly bad, but having a mil version of the scope would have been better, in my opinion. The only thing that I don't like about this scope initially was the parallax adjustment was really stiff. And they make these little 3D printed gears that hook on this, and it's a lot easier to manipulate now. And so that was a really good upgrade for myself. And then these turret tapes where I can mark down my elevation, so I can dial a lot faster for elevation. The other things I have on here is these Coltac cheat sheets. This is where you can stick on that little dry erase section, and so you can write down the stage information and the distances that you need to engage with the dope that you need to dial in. And then on the front, I have these threaded adapters that allow me to put the DFAT trainer focusing device on here. If you guys don't know what that is, I made another video about it briefly, but it's a kind of like a magnifying glass essentially that screws on the front, and it allows the scope to focus at a really close distance, and it's supposed to be set up for about 12 to 15 feet. And what you can do is print off a bunch of the training programs that they have available or from other sites that offer it, and you can practice inside your house or in your backyard and do a lot of dry fire practice on targets that are a lot smaller and in focus. So it's a really awesome training device. It is kind of spendy, but I really like it a lot. I've definitely got my money's worth back from it, I feel like, and I really enjoy using it for dry fire. Because in NRL22, they provide you with the DFAT training sheets each month for the course of fire. You can print those off for free. I print them off at Staples so that they're a little bit higher definition, and it costs me only about like 80 cents. It's great. I like to practice with those a lot. So moving on, I have an Annex Defense Arca rail on here at the bottom, and then in the front I have a shortened piece of Picatinny. I did get this Leo Photo Arca adapter for my Atlas bipod, which has Arca and Picatinny, and so now I can use it on the Arca plate and be able to adjust it anywhere on there. On the end, I have this cheap muzzle brake. I think I got it off of eBay. It is steel. It's been working out great. It was pretty cheap, like 20 or 30 bucks. When I first started competing, I was running a suppressor on here because, you know, it's cool to have suppressors. I was running a suppressor on this and a moderator on my air gun, but when you're having to rely on different people for scoring and spotting, and if they can't hear the shot because they are so focused on looking at the skill targets to see if they jiggle at all, if they can't hear the shot and they don't know that you've missed, for example, then the shot order gets mixed up, and then you end up losing a bunch of points on the back end because they think that you're out of order. And it's happened to me 2 times, specifically while competing in air guns. But after that happened, I've switched all my competition stuff over to muzzle brakes so that there's no question on when that shot breaks and, you know, if I've missed or not. Because let's be honest, I'm not the best shooter in the world. Yeah, I definitely missed quite a bit. And so letting them hear it and know that I missed is just helping me not lose any points. That's why I switched over to muzzle brakes now. This is a Difrico Kung Fu grip. It's just more of a vertical grip. I really like these a lot. I love the undercut here. It just fits my hands really well. I have kind of a fat knuckles, and so this just really fits my hand great. So I really like those a lot. I kind of jimmy rigged a stage timer for myself because when I first started competing, I was really slow, which is kind of a good thing because I was focusing on trying to get a stable position, but having a timer on here was letting me be able to practice to kind of speed up and kind of get in my head of how much time I actually have. So trying to set that timer for, 120 seconds and repeating that a couple times during practice and stuff like that. So it's definitely helped put a hustle under my butt. But this is actually a swimming lap timer on a 3D mounted bracket with a Streamlight tactical light Picatinny mount. So it's kind of all jimmy rigged together, but it works really great and it didn't cost a whole lot of money. So this was a great option, especially if you didn't want to shell out all the money for the MDT Crush It timer. which I do have that now, and it's pretty awesome, but this thing works perfectly great, and sometimes this is more simple than that, so it's almost sometimes better in my opinion. Super simple, super cheap, highly recommend it if you are looking for a timer. We'll probably do a video on that maybe sometime if anybody's interested, but it's kind of boring. It's just a stage timer. Other than that, I've painted it, and one really great modification that you can make specifically to this rifle is these indexing marks on the side here. So these rifles have kind of a deep mag well, and you can kind of see empty chamber flag I have in here is the size of the BX10 magazines, and you can't even see the bottom here. And if you're wearing gloves, it is kind of hard to reach up in here and feel where the magazine release is. And so what I've done is put an indexing mark where the magazine release is, and then where the center of the magazine well is. What this allows me to do is be able to kind of visually see from the side where I need to put my thumb to get it in the right position a lot faster than kind of feeling around in there. And then also when I'm trying to strip out or insert another magazine, I know where the middle is, and so I'm not kind of forward or back, because there's a lot of extra room under here and a lot of different little ridges and stuff. And the first time I had to do a magazine change during a stage took forever, and it was terrible. And then I thought about this idea. Guarantee I'm not the first person to do this, but in my mind I was like, oh, I'm a genius. I'll put these marks on here and it'll be changing my world. But it really did help. I think it's super simple, costs nothing. You could use a Sharpie if you wanted. I used a white paint pen or whatever, but specifically for this rifle, like I mentioned, was a great upgrade. Just put some marks on the side, bam, done. Anyway, so that's kind of an overview of this rifle. I really like it a lot. The price points is super low now. I think they've even gotten cheaper since they've come out. So if you're looking to get into any kind of precision 22 stuff, this is a great option, but there's also a lot of other great options out there too. So the CZ457 is really awesome. There's the Tikka T1X. Those are the two that come to mind, but I'm sure there's other ones. But for the price point, these are really awesome. Like I said, there's a lot of really awesome scopes available now that are going to keep you at that base class level, or if you just want to have a plinker, you know, put whatever you want on it. But these are a ton of fun. They don't cost a ton of money, and 22 ammo is becoming cheap again, thank God. But I thoroughly enjoy shooting this almost as much as some of my centerfire stuff, and the part that I really like is it's not costing me tons of money when I take it out every time, and I can just go have some fun, and that's it. I'll see you guys around on the next video when I start testing out a lot more of this ammo and let you know how it does. But other than that, I'll see you soon. Bye.